Alrighty, we are back again. This is video 2 for the day. I'm going to release all my videos that I do today, and then I'll just feature them on Twitter as I go. But today we are looking at Feather 2020. This is rotation proof, and since we're going to be starting the next rotation soon, I might as well go ahead and go over this deck. As always, please feel free to like, subscribe, comment. I'd love to hear any thoughts on any decks you have. First, we'll go over the cards. We have... oh wait, I didn't do this part. The average CMC is 2.3, 10 creatures, 19 sorceries, 19 instants, 1 sorcery, 1 artifact, 3 planeswalkers, and 26 lands. First up, we have Defiant Strike for 1 white. It's an instant. Target creature gets +1/+0 until end of turn. Draw a card. Obviously, we want to use this with Feather so we can draw an extra card every turn. God's Willing for 1 white. It's an instant. Target creature you control gains protection from the color of your choice until end of turn. Scry 1. Again, use this with Feather. Prevent people from being able to remove it. It comes back every turn. We get to Scry 1. Infuriate for 1 red. Instant. Target creature gets +3/+2 until end of turn. Once again, use this with Feather. We can use it every turn, and so 1 creature will get +3/+2 each turn. It's pretty good. Maximize Velocity for 1 red. Target creature gets +1/+1 and gains haste until end of turn. Jump Start. Since Feather triggers on each creature targeted, every time we play a creature, we can also give it haste too. So, Smooth Sprint. For 1 red, target creature gets +2/+1, gains haste until end of turn, scry 1. This is, in my opinion, better than Maximize Velocity in this deck, but I don't have any common wild cards, so we added this as well. This is really good, again, with Feather, because we can use it every turn. We get to scry 1, and the creature gets haste. 4 shocks, everyone knows what they do, but we'll read it anyway. Shock deals 2 damage to any target. Next, we got our 2-drop, Sky Knight Vanguard for red and a white. You get a Human Knight flying, 1/2. Whenever Sky Knight Vanguard attacks, create a 1/1 creature, white soldier creature token that's tapped and attacking. So this gives us more things that we are able to target with our instants and sorceries. So, and then they'll return to our hand, obviously. I just like this because we're able to swing a little wider than we would have been able to without it. That's all I got for that one. 10th District Legionnaire, red and a white, 2/2 human soldier with haste. Whenever you cast a spell that targets it, put a +1/+1 counter on it, and then scry. So, with Feather out and 10th District Legionnaire out, whenever you target it, it gets +1/+1. You exile that instant or sorcery. That instant or sorcery, and then you get to scry 1. Now, if you were to say use Defiant Strike, as soon as it's targeted, you get the +1/+1 counter, then you scry. You can either put it on the bottom, or you can draw that card, so you get a little more digging power. And then this one, you'd be able to scry 2, basically. You scry that one, and then you scry this one. That's it. This one's really good with Feather. It's pretty much combo. Just to cure, I can never say that. Please tell me how to say this card in the comments. Just to Cure's Portal is what I think it is, but for 1 and a white, exile target creature you control, then return that card to the battlefield under its owner's control. It gains first strike until end of turn. So using this, basically our creatures have vigilance. We only have 3 of them in the deck though, but as long as we have 1, we can exile Feather, bring it back, and then it has first strike, or we can also do Tajik or the True Fire Captain, the True Fire Captain being the best one of those to do that, but we will go over that once we get there. For 2 white, we have Brought Back, instant, choose up to 2 target permanent cards in your graveyard that are put there from the battlefield this turn, return them to the battlefield tapped. I like this card because if someone board wipes us, this will help us recover. Now granted, because these are not on the battlefield, they're just spells, honestly. So I don't think that these 2 trigger, but I just like that here, so I can grab one of the feathers back. So technically this makes it so there are 4 feathers in the deck. Chandra's Pyro Helix for 1 and a red. You get an instant, Chandra's Pyro Helix. deals 2 damage divided as you choose among 1 or 2 targets. So the way I do this one is either 1, if we have Feathered and the 10th District Legionnaire, we use 1 of that damage to target the 10th District Legionnaire, and then we'll get it back. So if your opponent has a 1-1, target that with 1, target the 1-1 with the other 1, and then at the end step, beginning of the next end step, it returns to our hand, and then possibly we can do it again. So that would make the 10th District Legionnaire super huge. If you have both the 10th District Legionnaires out, you can target both of them with this. They both get the +1/+1. They both scry 1. So, and then you get to return it, and you can do it again. So possibly you can keep making them bigger and bigger. Nahiri Stone Blades for 1 and a red, instant, up to 2 target creatures get +2/+0 until end of turn. Again, this works how we want it with 10th District Legionnaire. Also, you can give it to Feathered, make Feather a 5/4, do a little bit more damage. It works perfectly. Tajik, Legion's Edge, has lots of keywords, haste, mentor, and then you can give it first strike. But for 1 a red and a white, you get a 3/2 human soldier legendary creature with haste mentor. Prevent all non-combat damage that would be dealt to other creatures you control. So basically with Tajik, with Feather, and with 10th District Legionnaire, I can target them with Chandra's Pyrohelix, but it will prevent the damage, but it's still targeted. So that'll prevent losing the 1 toughness, and then we'll be able to swim with it even better. And then for red and white, it gains first strike until end of turn. That's really good too. Then the most important card of this deck, Feather. For a red, a white, and a white, you get a 3/4 Angel with flying. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell that targets a creature you control, exile that card instead of putting it into your graveyard as it resolves. If you do, return it to your hand at the beginning of the next end step. Now granted, I don't know how that works with Jumpstart. It wouldn't put it into your graveyard as a result, so that's an interaction that I need to look over too. But Feather's really good. Next we have Boros Locket for 3. You get an artifact that taps for red or white, and then for Boros, tap, sacrifice it, draw 2 cards. Boros has a hard time drawing cards, so this is perfect for this deck. True Fire Captain. For red, red, white, white, you get a 4/3 with Mentor. When True Fire Captain is dealt damage, it deals that much damage to target player. So, what I like about this card, its Mentor ability. We can use one of our instant to give it a little more power, and then we can give a +1/+1 counter to one of our other creatures. Mentor says, whenever this creature attacks, put a +1/+1 counter on target attacking creature with lesser power. 4/3, I think, is the highest we have at the moment. So, when it swings, we'd be able to put a +1/+1 counter on any of our other creatures that are in the smaller category. Chandra Fire Artisan for 2 a red and a red. You get a legendary Planeswalker Chandra with 4 loyalty. When 1 or more loyalty counters are removed from Chandra Fire Artisan, she deals that much damage to target opponent or Planeswalker. +1, exile the top card of your library, you may play it this turn. And then -7, exile the top 7 cards of your library, you may play them this turn. What I like about this, before we play our land drop, we +1 Chandra. If we get a land, we play it. If we don't get a land and we get an instant, then we can cast it, and then we'll be targeting one of our creatures if Feather's out, and then we get to put it in our hand. Basically, it's a draw spell, for instance. For creatures, we're going to play them as soon as they pop out with this if we have the mana. Nahiri Storm of Stone, 2 Boros. You get a legendary Planeswalker Nahiri. As long as it's your turn, creatures you control have first strike. Extremely important for this deck. And equipped abilities you activate cost 1 less to activate. -X, Nahiri Storm of Stone deals X damage to target tapped creature. So this I like for killing smaller creatures or mana dorks, because they're usually 1/1, 0/3s, stuff like that, so we can deal that damage, but giving all our creatures first strike will help protect them as well, so Feather being a 3/4 with first strike would be pretty awesome. Next are the Cavaliers. For 2, a white, and a white, you get a 4/6 Elemental Knight with Vigilance. When it enters the battlefield, draw up to 1 target non-land permanent. Its controller creates a 3/3 colorless Golem artifact creature token. When Cavalier of Dawn dies, return target artifact or enchantment card from your graveyard to your hand. So the way we want to do this one is, once this dies, you'd want to sacrifice the Boros Locket, and then you'd get to grab it back with the Cavalier of Dawn. Since there aren't any more enchantments in this deck, it doesn't really matter in that instance, but we can also use Brought Back to grab it back again, and then we can destroy a second thing. It has Vigilance. Next, 2 red, you get a 6/5 Elemental Knight, Cavalier of Flame. For 1 and a red, creature you control get +1/+0 and gain haste until end of turn. When Cavalier of Flame enters the battlefield, discard any number of cards and draw that many cards. When it dies, it deals X damage to each opponent and each planeswalker they control, where X is the number of land cards in your graveyard. So, we don't really have ways to put lands in our graveyard, so if we come up against a mill deck, which we have, this card is perfect to be able to deal with that. They mill our lands, we get it out, and then boom, deal a whole bunch of damage. The +1/+0 is also pretty good, seeing as we have 2 flyers. We can attack and then use that ability to give them even more power, and then possibly kill our opponent. Chandra Awakened Inferno. For 4 red and a red, you get a legendary Planeswalker Chandra with 6 loyalty. This spell can't be countered, really important against blue decks. +2, each opponent gets an emblem with, at the beginning of your upkeep, this emblem deals 1 damage to you. -3, Chandra Awakened Inferno deals 3 damage to each non-elemental creature. And -X, Chandra Awakened Inferno deals X damage to target creature or planeswalker. If a permanent dealt damage this way would die this turn, exile it instead. So, why do I like this card? While it deals damage to non-elemental creatures and we only have 2, Tajik says prevent all non-combat damage that would be dealt to other creatures you control. So, while it would die, unfortunately, it's fine, it happens, everything else would be saved and it would possibly wipe the board of your opponents. Also, you could also grab one of your instants and throw it on there quick before you use that ability. Being able to deal 1 damage to each of our opponents each turn is pretty good, as it lowers the amount of time that they have to win the game. And then the -X, being able to target creature or planeswalker, gets creatures out of the way as we swing. For lands, we have 12 plains, 12 mountains, and 2 Boros Guildgate. And that is it for this quick deck tech. I enjoy playing this deck, and I'll probably record it a couple times. I'm not sure yet. I'm working on the instant deck techs for the 2020 standard. This is also one of them, so I enjoyed this video. Like I said in the beginning of the video, if you wouldn't mind, please like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you in the next video. Later.